Lawmakers say both chambers of the National Assembly will have to agree on how best to respond to President Buhari's rejection of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Senate President Ahmed Lawan says the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended does not permit the upper chamber to exclusively take any action on such matters without concurrence with the House of Representatives. However, the House of Reps has embarked on recess to resume in January. He assured his colleagues that a joint position would be reached with the lower legislative house after due consultation with the constituents to determine the appropriate line of action when both chambers reconvene after the Christmas break. But the Nigeria Governors Forum supported the president for not assenting to the bill, saying his reasons were cogent, and more on that. But joining me to analyze this is public affairs analyst Smart Akpejoye. Good morning. Compliments of the season. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, and compliment of the season to you too.
Right. Let's begin with your assessment of the president's decision, because a lot of persons had felt that because he benefited from the direct primaries, he would assent to it. Unfortunately, the story was different. I wonder if you saw this coming and what you make of it.
First, I saw it coming that the president might likely reject that aspect of the direct primaries. And the reason is because, you see, the Governors Forum are very, very influential in decision taking in this country. And you find that the Governors Forum, at least two-thirds of the larger percentage of the Governors Forum were against it. Now, and because they're against it, you see, don't forget they would lobby. They will probably lobby the Attorney General of the Federation. They will lobby some key persons that the president would consult. And at the end of the day, they will always have their way, because the Governors Forum have always been having their way. But however, my personal view, do I support the decision? One, yes and no. Right. Yes is that I support the fact that the president rejected that clause of the Electoral Amendment Act, which impose direct primaries by all political parties. Why? And my reason is this. You see, making that a constitutional matter is an undemocratic process in a democratic setting.
How so?
Why do I say this? You see, the various parties have their constitution.
Absolutely.
Various parties, and in their constitution, they have specified how their candidates will emerge.
Definitely.
Now, you now coming back again to now make it a constitutional matter that no matter what your party decide, this is the way we want it. People should be allowed to pick their candidate the way they want. Parties should be allowed. Party A might want to pick its candidate through direct, the other might want to pick its candidate through consensus, and the other might want to pick their candidate through indirect primaries. So be it. All they just need to do, the moment the party decide, and again, even in the political party, let's say APC as it is, APC Lagos State could decide that we are going for indirect primaries in Lagos State. Ogun State could say we are going for direct primaries. Oyo State could say we are going for consensus candidates. They are all still part of the larger APC. Whichever way the party hierarchy in the states decides, all they just need to do is to bring in the national body and to bring in INEC and say this is what we have agreed to do. And they should be allowed to do it that way. So that is the area where I support it, that, look, at this point in time, the constitution should not be forcing some certain things on us as a party. And again, you see, the way our candidates should emerge must not necessarily be uniformed. Let everybody choose this way. But however, I think what Mr. President would have done is to have consent to it and treat it the same way he had treated the Petroleum Industry Act. Now a petroleum industry bill. So he would have treated it that way. That way he would have de-escalated the tension that we have now. And again, you see, as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any big deal in all the noise, in all the protests from the National Assembly. If Mr. President have sent something back to you, look at it at the merits, and again sit down and do a quick rethink, a quick rework of the bill and send it back. I see Mr. President, if they remove that clause, I see Mr. President ascending to the electoral bill.
But we already hear that the Senate is already gathering signatures to veto the president's decision. It's not a
good route to go. The reason why I say it's not a good route to go is that, you see, in the first place, let us learn to accommodate ourselves. It is not every time Mr. President says something that you say, oh, you all want to go against it. No,
they haven't been doing much of that, which made a lot of persons think that they are rubber stamp.
I will come to that. Of course, the National Assembly of Gbajabiamila, the House of Representatives of Gbajabiamila, and Senate of Lawal, of course, they is an extension of President Buhari's government, because as far as I'm concerned, whatever Mr. President brings to them, they will find a way of approving it without looking at how it affects the larger population. So I'm not too surprised, but on this aspect, I think I will not go I wouldn't want the House of Assembly, the House of Rep, or the National Assembly to go the route of vetoing. Let them just come back and do that, because in the first place, he has given some cogent reasons. The cogent reason is that it will be making it uniform will be undemocratic. That means all the parties will now go back.
Because the National Assembly thinks otherwise.
All the parties will now go back to amend that clause in their constitution.
Is anything wrong with that?
Number one, time. Number two again,
if something is important, wouldn't you allocate time for it?
And again, in the first place, we must look at it from this aspect that it's a democratic setting. We must not all face one direction. Let every party choose the way they want their candidate to emerge. Constitution now imposing it on them. Not everybody have that resources. I tell you, some parties are not as strong as APC and PDP. And
don't they have members?
They have members. These members could, even in APC, do they pay monthly dues? Go and find out.
That is why the parties must put their acts together.
Look, if you want to go into that, if you want to go to that aspect of monthly dues, the last time that we see party paying monthly dues was in SDP and NRC. That was the last time you see people paying their party dues, because there is a card where if you go for this thing, they will endorse it and say, okay, you have paid your dues. And then in MPN and UPN, they did. Even UPN was very religious about it. As they are getting there, somebody is collecting, and then it was even 20 naira.
So perhaps this is why there was so much commitment at the time.
But at this time, you see, there were commitment from political parties, from party members. There were commitment even by the political office holders. But right now, what you see is a political party holder acquiring so much wealth. At the time he's going to contest, he will sell that property and use it to fight an election. And the moment he gets in there, he wants to get back that property times 2. That is why you see so much of corruption in government now. But
perhaps that is what the National Assembly is trying to correct.
That is not what the National Assembly is trying to do, because even this will not even solve it, because you will still see the money back. We saw what happened in APC in Lagos State. We saw what happened. We said, okay, let the election take place from the ward. We saw what happened at the ward. The party hierarchy at the states will still have their way. That's the simple truth. Because what happened then was that the party hierarchy, even though they had a sitting governor that was ready to throw the votes open for all this thing, but you see that the party hierarchy said, look, we are going to match you money for money. And you saw what happened. You saw what happened in Agege. You saw what happened in Ekpe. So, as far as I'm concerned, we should not
whether direct or indirect.
Look, the most important thing is that let a proper candidate emerge, not somebody that because he's very close to a party leader, that is the person, that is the anointed candidate. That even before the party primaries, even before even the election time, people are saying, oh, that is going to be the anointed candidate of the party leader. It is wrong. Everybody, we must come to a stage where, as a party member, I must say, look, from the word here, this is the person I think, let us see a person going to represent us. We want to see. Then we have commitment. I remember then, even Babaja Konde, even though he was campaigning for the second time, coming to our ward in Okioja South to campaign in the Gomu, then Apapa local government, coming there to campaign, even though he was a sitting governor. I could see even the likes of Abiba Kim coming then to campaign to campaign as a candidate of UPN, even though the party does not really support him. And when he saw that he does not have that candidate, it became to MPN. So you see, we must begin to let our public officers be accountable to the people. And the only way they can be accountable to the people, let us stop this anointing of persons by godfathers. We must reduce this godfatherism. And that is why they are not really performing. If we look at it, let us look at it critically. Are most of these governors performing? Are most of these House of Assembly members are they performing? No is the answer. However, to de-escalate this tension, I think the National Assembly should not go the route of the vetoing. One. Secondly, they should go back to their constituency and consult with opinion leaders.
Which some of them have said they were going to do.
You see, they are always saying it. Since Jimmy Benson became the House of Representative member, I have not seen him hold a town hall meeting in Ikorodu. The only thing I see him do is to hold a party meeting, come to party this thing. And the way they hold town hall meeting is not the way town hall meeting should be held. What they do now is to call all their ward members, say come to this place, give them, they are distributing whatever to them, and you're talking to them. That is not town hall meeting. A town hall meeting should be town hall meeting. We are opinion leaders. We have resident association. We have religious organization. These are the people that you will invite and say, look, what is your opinion about this? What is your opinion about this? So the town hall meeting should really be town hall meeting. And the same thing, likewise, Abiru, because those are the two areas where I've not seen them in Ikorodu doing the right thing. But what they are doing is, at any time you see them distributing food back, whatever. That is wrong. That's not what we ask them to do.
The people are not making demands of them that we want to have meetings with you.
How do you make demands? Do they listen? The moment they get there, do they listen to you? They don't listen to anybody. You see, if they must go back, because this is a very critical stage of our political life. They must go back if they are going to have political meeting. The simple truth is that it should be opinion leaders, not party members. Not party members. Opinion leaders, bring the opinion leaders from all your from your district. Bring opinion leaders from your senatorial district. Bring them together. Look, this is the problem. I'm sure you've had this. What should I do? What should I go there to say? And if I'm going to say it, don't worry. You are going to see it on telly, because I'm even going to short a clips of what I've said. What we have agreed here. If what we have agreed here is that we should tell Mr. President, okay, we should turn this bill back to Mr. President by expunging this aspect of it and return it back to him. If it is to veto, what do you want? But by the time they not agree, even from his senatorial district, they've come up with a communique of what Abiru will say when he gets there representing Lagos South or whatever. And the same thing, Jimmy Benson, vis-a-vis the same thing, all House of Representative member in the state, Senate, the three senators, from Lagos State, we cannot know that we have an opinion that this is what we are saying. The same thing, Delta State. We must not wait until they just go there and just say whatever they like, and which is always what they have. That is why there is a disconnect between the House of Rep, between the people and the political office holders. There is a serious disconnect. And that's why they don't even trust them.
All right. Let's look at some of the reasons that the president gave, which you were trying to mention earlier. He talked about the high cost of conducting these primaries. I mean, it is supposed to be the party's responsibility if you want to conduct any of this. As some have said that most of the reasons he gave are just excuses. No,
I don't. I say, in the first place, don't let us look at Buhari as a person most of the time, because we don't agree with his governance style, and because sometimes now that we just throw away everything that he says like that. No, we must look at it critically. On this aspect, you talk about insecurity.
Insecurity.
The insecurity is caused by the political office holders. It is caused by the ineptitude of our political office holders. That is why we have large insecurity. However, that should not be an excuse, because what we are saying is that, are we saying that with the entire security network that we have, that we cannot curtail an internal aggression? Let's even say they are even having foreign backings, that we cannot curtail it. I mean, I disagree. Now, on the issue of admitting that there is a security problem is an admission of failure on the part of the APC government, Buhari. However, on the issue that it is expensive, yes, it is expensive to conduct. Even INEC, because who is going to fund it? The party is going to fund it. It is very, very expensive. I know that to conduct an election where INEC will come and supervise at the ward, like in Lagos State, I think officially we have 287 wards. To go by the creation of LCDAs and whatever, we have well over 340 wards. And in each ward, let's assume we have about 300 party members. Like that, it will be very, very expensive.
That is why it's high time to start introducing technology to addressing all of these issues.
You see, if we are talking about technology, is that in place now? Because in the first place, if we agree, we can just set up a whatever and just say from your phone, you just vote either for A or for B. But we don't have that yet, and we cannot get there overnight. So, and again, we must also, I also want to commend what INEC is doing. They are doing a fantastic job. So far, INEC has a pass mark with me. Professor Mahmoud Yakub, fantastic guy. He's doing a very good job. Let him continue in that pace. And again, either President Buhari signs this Electoral Act or not, does not stop the INEC from conducting a credible election. That is it. So either
Nigerians just want an improved process.
Well, they want an improved process, but if it's not coming, either this, of course, we saw what happened in Anambra.
Beavers.
The INEC, they say the Constitution has given INEC the responsibility, the authority to conduct their election with the way they deem fit, not the way prescribed to them by anybody. And they came up with Beaver. They didn't get presidential permission. They didn't get the federal whatever. They thought Beaver would be an improvement on what they are doing, and they introduced Beaver. And again, they run it with a Delta State House of Assembly by election. They saw that okay, there were some issues. They brought into Anambra. Yes, there are some hiccups, and because of network problem, and because of again, they don't have adequate personnel that on IT to man it. So they now have to be moving people about. But I'm sure they've gone back. I'm sure they must have gone back to the drawing board.
Absolutely.
And they will improve in Ekiti. They will improve in Osun. So as far as I'm concerned, this should not bring too much of rancor. Let them just go and expunge that aspect of it. If that is the only aspect that they want to, Mr. President has not complained too much of this thing. Let them just expunge that and return it back to him. Latest by January ending.
All right.
And let's see his excuse then.
All right, let's wait until then. Fingers crossed. Public Affairs Analyst, Smart Akpejoyi, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Right.